showdown as the Cowboys host the Lions in a game you can see on ABC and ESPN. And this is what is at stake in this big NFC showdown. The Lions can tie a franchise record with their 12th win of the season. They're also in the mix for the number 1 overall seed if they can keep pace with the 49ers. Cowboys are looking to complete a perfect season at home, and they will try and keep the pressure on the Eagles for that NFC East title, which they could still win if they win their last couple of games and the Eagles lose one. So what do we need to see from the Cowboys tomorrow night? We're 2 weeks from the playoffs. They're going to be in it.
A win.
But what do we need to see from them to feel like they've got a chance to make a run?
Can they match Detroit's physicality? This game is going to be about Detroit's offensive line versus Dallas's defensive line and linebacker group. Can they match that? I think this game is decided in the first quarter. If this Dallas team doesn't gather momentum and control of this game, we remember 2 weeks ago they played at Buffalo. Buffalo ran it 45 times. Detroit might run it 45 times in a row. Like they will. That's the mindset that they will have into this football game. Dallas has lost 2 in a row. In conjunction, they haven't gotten a takeaway on defense 2 games in a row. Can they win a game without getting a takeaway? This is Dallas's like NFC Championship hopes and Super Bowl dreams on the line. If they lose this game, they ain't going on the road and getting there.
Look, I get that, Dan. I hired Dan Campbell in 2015. Like, he is a leader of men. He wants to be physical. I get all that. But this game is going to be decided by the right arm of Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is as good a quarterback in the NFL, including Joe Flacco, by the way, as there is. And if they play well on offense, home, road, neutral site, it doesn't matter, guys. This is a team that's
Did they play well on offense last week?
Yes.
Okay, and they lost.
By 2 points to a really good team at home.
They lost.
Right, I understand that. But my point is this. They can control the game on offense, and it takes some of the pressure off their defense. They are small in their front seven. It's physics. I get that. But this team can go on the road like they did last year in the playoffs and win because they can play complementary.
If you really look at it, though, they've actually never controlled the game offensively.
Thank you.
They've only lost control defensively.
Thank you.
They don't control Dak Prescott has played really well the entire season. Right? And the difference is in the games that this team loses or in the games that this team doesn't dominate ball control is that their defense gets dominated.
Correct.
Is that their defense doesn't turn the football over. Dak Prescott has been the same. Against the Miami Dolphins, Dak Prescott was awesome. Dak Prescott.
Yep.
Dak Prescott had his MVP drive to show you that no longer do we need to ask the question that when my number is called upon, will I show up?
There you go.
This is a defense that is supposedly built to play ahead. A defense that's supposedly supposed to close you out that didn't do it. It's also a defense that has an issue. Your best off-the-ball defender, right, is your best rusher. And you have to figure out, can you play him on first and second down? Right. Because teams will now try to attack you in the pass. Can you find another rusher? Is he good enough in the drop game? And so there's so much that defensively they don't have answers to. And you should have those answers right now. Yeah. And so when we ask, what do they have to prove? To me, it's actually nothing. If they win this game or if they play well or if they turn the football over, I'm not going to come in here Monday again fooled and say the Dallas Cowboys are going to win the Super Bowl.
Right. What if they're tough against Detroit's run game? What if they show some toughness against the run game they haven't showed against these other teams?
To me, it's not showing toughness. Yeah. To me, it's showing that you made a schematic change.
All right.
Right? Because
that makes sense.
Get tough. Guys go. DeMarcus Lawrence in the second half against Miami was a war daddy. Yeah. Right? He showed you that I could stand up and be different from a physicality standpoint. But what are you going to do? Is Michael Parsons going to spill upfield? Are we going to contain the football? On the second level, when they get to the second level off of the double team, can we beat blocks and not be driven into the get up sign over there? Those are all the different things that they have to do.
This is the best offensive line that Dallas has seen all year. Detroit's offensive line.
Oh, yeah.
And their run game. So to RC's point, like, what are you going to do to try? I don't think you're going to stop this run.
I'm going to stop right there. Well, hello, good people. Mark Holmes here, of course, with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Hope everybody's had a great week. I hope you've had actually a great day, and I hope you've had a fantastic year, because this year is literally over. I can't believe that 2023 and this NFL season has flown by so quickly. It's crazy. Before we get into everything, don't forget, we do have the tailgate next weekend. We don't know what time the game is going to start. We have not heard from the Commanders yet, the Commanders in the NFL, if it's a 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, or 7 o'clock kickoff. We do still have tickets and stuff available. If you go through on the community tab, there is a post with all of the information about the game. And if you want to attend, the tickets are $199. You're buying them directly from the Commanders. Jed Pilgrim's phone number is there. The parking passes are $250. Again, I've got no control over the prices of the tickets of either of those. And we're asking, if you're coming, just a little donation to help cover the cost of food and stuff. There's a link in there for my PayPal donation button, so you can make a donation that way. Or if you want to give us a few dollars there to help cover the cost of chicken wings and barbecue and the big subs and things like that. And hopefully we'll see a lot of you. I have heard in the last couple of days probably about 30 to 40 people that will definitely be coming, and I'm sure there'll be even more by the time game comes there. When you start talking about having food out at tailgate and Dallas Cowboy people, everybody gets there. So let me say shout out to Angelica Baron and the puppies. What's up, Angelica? Help me, Rhonda. What's up, Rhonda? How are you doing tonight? I think I saw Lady Libra in the house. What's up, Lady Libra? We got Rhonda, Lovely Sparks. Got to make sure we get her up in here. What's up, Rhonda? I think Queen Bella said she's going to be there, so you know it's going to get wild at the tailgate. What's up, Bella? And let's see, who else have I missed on the lovely ladies? Lady Libra, I got you. And Angelica, Rhonda, Miss Gibson. What's up, Miss Gibson? How are you doing? Shout out to her. Gina Dallas Diva. What's up, Gina? How are you doing? Alan Williams in the house. What's going on? John's in the house. Randy's in the house. Bachman Taylor Overdrive. Alan Williams. Derek Young. Natasha in the house. Shout out to Natasha. All right, good people. So here we are. I'm still blown away that this is week 17 in the NFL season, that literally we got one more game after this week. It's just mind-blowing because it seemed like it took forever for the season to get here. And now it's finally here, and it's just about over. This is crazy. I just can't believe it. So we know that Tyron Smith is a 50-50 shot. He is questionable. I think he is going to play. Hankins is definitely out. Rico Dowdle is definitely out as well. So we will be a little bit shorthanded in the backfield. But if we can get Tyron Smith back, if Tyron Smith, and I'm guessing, okay, don't quote me because I don't know. Tyron Smith, the way it's described, that it flared up, and typically we're not talking about a slip disc, we're not talking about a pulled muscle. You can have like pinched nerves, or where basically you've got a disc is just kind of getting pinched a little bit in here, and you end up getting like a burning sensation, or you feel like you've got a knife stuck in your back, and that can go away in a few days and things, and hopefully you have the strength in it. What I'm more happy about is that Zach Martin, that we haven't heard much about him having any more problems with the contusion on his thigh bruise. So that soft tissue injury is definitely doing better than what we thought last week, and hopefully he will be ready for the playoffs. And I see Lola's in the chat. What's up, lovely Lola? And I'm burning for you. Now, the Dallas Cowboys. I pointed out something because I was actually surprised when I looked at the numbers. I have been the guy that's been saying that the Dallas Cowboys were being remade in the image of the 2010 Green Bay Packers. When you look at that team ended up 6-10, did not win its division, and ended up going on the road, not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times to win the Super Bowl. And the craziest thing about this, because, just like you heard my buddy Dan Orlowski talking about the Cowboys can't win on the road. The funniest thing, this is the parallels, and this is what makes you think, wow, it is possible. That Green Bay Packer team was 3-5. 3-5 on the road. 3-5. They were 7-1 at home. They took care of business at home, but during the regular season could not play well at home. On the road. But when the playoffs started, they got their shit together and they ended up going on the road as a wild card team. Not only going on the road, 2 teams that they lost to in their house, the Atlanta Falcons as well as the Chicago Bears, they beat both of them on their way to the Super Bowl. So when people say 10-6, Mark, you're right, Thomas, and Thomas is going to be at the tailgate too. When people say you can't win on the road, I say that's bullshit. It's the playoffs. It's a 1-game stretch. So, anything it can happen, just anything. So don't be too despondent. Just be happy that you got a chance. And we've gotten kind of spoiled, at least in my mind. I don't know if we'll end up being 10-7, 11-6, or 12-5, but we've had double-digit wins 3 seasons in a row. That, to me, looks like, come on, that's gold. So let's be at least happy about this, and we've got a chance. Linda, what's up, Linda? Welcome to the chat tonight, Linda. Are your Eagles ready to take on the Cardinals? That's what I want to know. And anything can happen because the Eagles are still free-falling. They're still having all kinds of drama that's going on, and you don't know if they're going to get a win or not get a win. Linda, my NFL sister star, what's up? All right, I'm tired of Pollard. Watch the goal line. That shit pissed me off. Derek, that's where I was sitting there looking, and when it happened, I was like, why are you cutting it back up? You got all this real estate, and you've got speed. Keep going for the pylon. But he just didn't. He just didn't. And it was one of those things that, he did, I guess he figured I'd turn it up, hit the shoulder in there, bow, I'm in there, and got turned back. It's just one of those things that hindsight is 20/20. And it's real easy to look back at it and say, maybe I should have kept outside. But when you're out there and you are actually just reacting, your body is just doing, is just going by instinct. And his instinct was, let me turn it up and get it up in here. But unfortunately, it didn't happen. And now that we have Rico Gathers is not playing, I'm wondering if they're going to end up bringing up Deuce Vaughn and putting him on the active roster, or if we will use more Hunter Lipke. Dirty Sanchez, I think CeeDee Lamb missed the second and third quarter last game because he was about to break Michael Irvin's record, and Jerry wants that done at home. That's going to be pretty hard to do at home. He's got like 168, let me see how many, I think it's 168 yards to go on that one. But you make a good point on that. Actually, somebody had said to me, and this was actually kind of interesting, one of the reasons they believe that the Cowboys may be having some problems on the road, and I'm not sure if this is it because it's also the defense as well, but they were saying the cadence of here we go, that when you're on the road and you have really loud fans, that you may not be able to hear him the same way. But I don't think that that's the case, and the reason I say that is because if you're not hearing the quarterback, generally speaking, you're jumping off sides. And we're not having a lot of false starts there. Deuce is coming up. Mojo, thank you very much. So maybe we'll be able to say the deuce is loose. No Pollard. Pollard will be playing. Pollard's fine. It's Rico Gathers who's not. See, what the Cowboys had done, which was beginning to work, was they ended up having Rico Gathers with about 10 or 12 carries, Tony Pollard with about 15. When the season first started, they ended up doing Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard, the first couple of games, had more touches than anybody else in the NFL for the first 3 games. And I think that was wearing him down, especially coming back from the injury. They started getting a nice mix in there where they were able to keep Tony Pollard fresher and using Rico more on the inside. Last week, it was kind of interesting because, and I don't know if Rico was a little bit nicked up early on and they didn't want to run him in the ground. But you did not see Rico in the game early on. You saw a lot of Hunter Lipke. And you looked at, with the exception of not having his hand, and if you watch the play, and I've watched it a few times, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to have both hands right here. So when that ball gets in there, it's sandwiched in between. It was like his other arm wasn't there. It was just like this hand was just there. The ball hits him, just drops right on out. The other hand didn't look like it even made a play. And it didn't even look like he was looking for the football when he was driving to the middle. He didn't even realize that he didn't have it. Michael Irvin is excited about it. Well, I'm going to say that I am super ecstatic about finally getting Jimmy Johnson into the Ring of Honor. Jimmy Johnson, come on. Jimmy Johnson is, I can't say the sole reason why we won those 3 Super Bowls, but it was Jimmy Johnson who, with the help of Jerry, and this is where you have to look at this and say, Jerry has not won a Super Bowl without Jimmy Johnson. And Jimmy Johnson, who went to Miami, did not win a Super Bowl without Jerry Jones. The two of them together, and along with that Herschel Walker trade, got lightning in a bottle. Jimmy Johnson going through with his no-nonsense with the players. You guys can be wild. Crystal, Caramel Corn, what's up, Crystal? How you doing? Kurt Morgan in the house. James Snyder. Nicholas, what's going on? Kevin Lanford, what's up? Astrological, D-Law disappeared too, like always. Hold on. Wait. Actually, Astrological, I'm going to get back to D-Law in a minute. I'm going to get back to him in a minute, but I want to finish this with my thoughts on Jimmy and Jerry. I am superstitious, okay? I mean, I've got a voodoo doll. Let's be clear. I got a voodoo doll, so I'm superstitious. And strange things have happened with Joe Boo. Not winning the Super Bowl is not one of them. I mean, us winning the Super Bowl has not been one of them. But I've had great luck and great things have happened because of Joe Boo. In fact, the fact that I'm even here, I'm going to actually credit to Joe Boo because I used to couldn't speak in public. Not that I'm great now, but literally I could not speak in public. Eastside, what would you know about saving Dallas when your team has never done shit? Okay, Eastside, seriously, why don't you go play on the train tracks, bro? Why don't you go do that, bro? Okay? Ain't nobody asking you shit. Eastside.
Junior.
You're out! Don't you do it! Don't you! I got nowhere else to go! I got nowhere else to go!
What's up, Clarence? How are you doing? Okay, back to Jimmy and Jerry. Together, they were the power couple. They made some incredible moves. The Herschel Walker trade was paramount, and the Cowboys just getting more talent than anybody else. But, after that, I got that chance to interview Jimmy Johnson. He pointed out it wasn't just that trade, but they brought in 56 different players, and not every single one of them was a hit. But they were able to find enough players to do what they wanted to do, where they were deep everywhere across the board. And to bring in guys that were into being Hall of Famers, Michael Irvin, of course, Troy Aikman with the number 1 pick, who didn't really blossom until about his 3rd year. Getting Emmitt Smith, getting that offensive line that was literally, as Jimmy Johnson put it, Mark Spiknowski was actually a guard that was kind of undersized, and they made him a center. They took Mark Tuinei, who was a defensive tackle, and made him an offensive tackle. They got Nate Newton, who was cut by the Commanders because they said he was too fat to be a football player. And they found guys like Gogan and Eric Williams, guys that were absolute positive beasts, and they could bludgeon people. And Jimmy Johnson let them have fun. They had the White House, as they called it, and things like that, the party house. They worked hard. He took no bullshit from players. If you messed up, your ass was cut. Asked the kicker who had asthma, he said, take your asthmatic ass over on that other field, in which they proceeded to cut them. And why Jerry Jones figured that his ego needed to let that guy go, and it was just that easy. Sometimes when you have success, you think that you're always going to have success and that it's just easy. And Jerry Jones found out the hard way that you couldn't just plug in any number of 500 coaches and win Super Bowls. They won that one with Barry Switzer, not because of Barry Switzer, but in spite of Barry Switzer. And for all of the years that Jerry Jones has literally denied giving credit to Jimmy Johnson, all of the shit that he's talked, even, as well as a couple of months ago, where the Ring of Honor is about the players. And before that, it was, there's several coaches that I've, deserved to be in the Ring of Honor. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You going to put Barry Switzer up there before Jimmy Johnson? You could see that it was personal to him. For me, being a superstitious person and being a person who believes in karma, not that karma has been hurting Jerry Jones as far as making money and being a multi-billionaire with the richest franchise in all of sports across the world. But you got money, but the thing that you want the most, you just can't seem to get. And for me, I look at it and say, the way we've lost games have always been the most agonizing ones that you wonder, how could it get any worse? When you think about Tony Romo's bobble snap in Seattle, when you think about the catch, no catch, oh, geez. When you think about Dak Prescott leading the Cowboys down for the score against the Green Bay Packers, throwing 304 yards, 3 TDs. Zeke Elliott, averaging like 5.7 yards a carry. To see Aaron Rodgers in less than 50 seconds go down and kick the winning field goal. Oh, jeez. When we lose in the playoffs, it always leaves a bad taste in your mouth, where it just literally hurts. Seeing last year, the last play of Zeke Elliott's career with the Cowboys is him at center with a high school play, the muddle huddle. Or the year before, Dak Prescott making yardage, getting the first down, putting the ball down, trying to get the play off and running out of time. It's like, do these things just happen like that? Or is it divine intervention that's saying we're punishing you? I'm hoping that it is actually they're punishing you. And that maybe putting Jimmy in will be the thing that turns the karma around. Rhonda Sparks, yes, I do, homegirl. How are you? Cowboys will win and will be 10-6 against the spread. Lions will be 10-6 after this game too. Dak Prescott will lead us to the promised land. The thing that killed us, is watching us go down the field, take the score, and, seemingly having the game in hand, and then watching the defense, which had been playing well all season, not be able to get the stop. That's what kills you. We can thank Kellen Moore for that play last year. You're right about that, Queen Bella. And what's going on? Marcus Blackman, just getting ready for the game tomorrow. I stayed up till about 3 o'clock in the morning with our company last night. I ain't doing that tonight. I'm going to get my rest because I'm going to need it for the game tomorrow and be ready to rock and roll against the Lions. That was Kellen Moore to the Dallas Cowboys muddle huddle with Zeke. I'm just like, the last time I saw the muddle huddle, oh my God. I remember in high school we were playing Washington Lee High School, and we had a juggernaut team. They came out in that game with the muddle huddle, and they played it all game. We beat them 74-15. Let me say that again. We beat them 74-15. That was the last time I saw them in the muddle huddle. And then I'm looking, it's like, they're not, no. Are you serious? The muddle huddle? And it's like, yeah, they did. So thank Kellen Moore. You know, I'm old enough to remember when all the talking heads were saying how big a mistake it was for the Cowboys to move on from Kellen Moore, that Kellen Moore is great. I remember Chargers fans telling me how stupid we were to let Kellen Moore go and how excited they were to have that guy as their offensive coordinator. And, yeah, didn't work out so well. James B., it's true. Oh, man, talking about this game has not got me feeling some sort of way. I can feel the electricity in the air. If the Cowboys, I tell you what, the Cowboys have a chance to go 16-0 at home, to have the perfect home stretch, to get themselves some momentum and keep the pressure on the Eagles. This game has got everything that you want to play for. Now, Tyron Smith, oh, okay, I remember now. Somebody said in the chat here that D-Law had disappeared. I'm going to go the opposite direction. I'm going to say that D-Law has actually, last week, he was balling. D-Law is actually playing with a sense of urgency, it feels like to me. And this is where I feel that Tyron Smith wants to play too. One, because the way his contract is structured is playing time matters. So for him, it's like $500,000 if he can play tomorrow. But D-Law seems to be like a man possessed. He's not a big sack guy. He's never really been a big sack guy, except for that third runner-up of MVP that he got his big contract off of. But he has been great with the run stopping, and as much as they have been killing the Cowboys about how bad they played against the run, they only gave up 91 yards last week. Now, for me, this game is important because if you've watched me for any length of time, I will tell you the problem that the Dallas Cowboys always have in the playoffs. It's two things. It's real simple. Everybody will go through and say, well, Dak Prescott, he chokes in the playoffs. Quite frankly, for the most part, Dak's numbers in playoff games are actually really good. They're above the curve. But here's the problem for the Cowboys. Running. Man. I love Zeke Elliott. I wish Zeke were still on the team. But unfortunately, by the time playoffs would come around with Zeke, he's just not that guy anymore. He had an incredible game against the Packers his rookie year, but in playoff games since that time, the last 2 years of playoffs, he averaged 2.3, I believe, last year and 2.6 in 2021. We have been under 75 yards a game running the football the last couple of years in the playoffs. And you have to be able to run the ball in the playoffs. That's the way you're going to control the clock. That's the way, when the weather's bad and all that, that's the way you're going to be able to keep the ball away from the other guys and hold on to possession of the ball. Ground and pound, low risk, high reward. But if you can't run the ball, you don't get your play action going. You end up, getting your quarterback being one-dimensional, and teams will tee off. If they know you can't run the football, we can go after the quarterback and end up destroying them. D-Law smacking people in the mouth, eyes, wherever it takes. He is. I don't know where somebody said D-Law is doing his disappearing act. It's like, are you watching the same games I'm watching? Because D-Law has actually been a force out there. I love weed in the house. What's up? I love weed. All right, so I see Game Time is saying that the Cowboys win 34-24. I'd be happy with that. Lola, Rhonda, Marcus, every day, 34-20. Let's go, Cowboys. Do we win a couple more games if Micah Parsons gets offensive hold? I think Kevin, I think you could have. Because, you think of a sack being a game changer. You think putting a team in 1st and 20 or 2nd and 20, those things matter. Clarence, yeah, he probably would have gotten that 1 yard. But you can't look at it and say, let's pay $16 million for Zeke to get 1 yard. Sorry, that just doesn't work in today's day and age. Hey, Lola, I'll be back in March. To Florida automobile dealer Norman Brahman and Ed, okay, for reporting $65 million to pay off more than $25 million in gambling debts at Atlantic City. What? Norman Berman and Ed Labrazo, I can't pronounce it, Brzanzik, for reporting $65 million to pay off more than $25 million in gambling debts. That's crazy. How you gonna gamble that kind of money, even if you got it? Mark, Stacy is using her new air fryer tonight. Shout out to Miss Stacy. I need to get one. I've got just a regular deep fryer, and the thing about the deep fryer is you got the oil smell in there I don't like. Cowboys value is number 1 in the NFL with 9.42 value. Yeah, without a doubt, they're worth plenty of money. Andrew, I hope you and your family had a blessed Christmas. Much love from Mississippi. Brother, we them boys. Shout out to Andrew. Alan Williams, I'm back. I just won over $100. Well, that's good, man. Hey, Alan Williams, can I hold something? Can I hold something, Alan? Huh? Okay. Love my Cowboys, but hate some of these boneheaded moves they made. Well, Clarence, not every move that you make is going to be a winner. You just got to make better moves than the next guy. We can look at it and say that the cardinal sin was Amari Cooper. Okay? That's one you wish that you hadn't done. But you can look at some of the other moves that they also made around that time. Getting rid of Lyle Collins. Collins didn't do anything out of there. Passing on, Von Miller. We could have signed him, and Von Miller has not done anything in Buffalo. You can look at saying that letting Connor McGovern and Connor Williams go. Those were the right moves that were right there, although we still haven't gotten complete replacements for everybody. But you can't, and this is where everybody thinks that you can automatically just get all-star players at every position and be good. You can't fix everything in one off season. And unfortunately, thus far this year, we haven't. The jury's out on the draft picks that we got. Schoonmaker, they thought that he was going to have to play a lot more because they didn't know Jake Ferguson was going to step up the way he has. Mozzie Smith, I still don't know what they're doing with him. Game Time was telling me that he heard Brian Broda say that he's down to 293 pounds, which is not the typical size that you want to have your one technique guy. To me, that's more of a 3 technique. And maybe they are, trying to, train him to be a 3 technique guy, or to be a guy that's going to end up being faster, where he's going to be doing more gap defensing as opposed to more reading and reacting. I don't know. I'd like to find out what it is that they're planning on doing on that. Christina Kiss, welcome. Thomas Garrett, that's one that I wish we had done too. Well, actually, Thomas, I can go back even further. Shit. I can go back to when Demario Davis was a Jet as a free agent and saying, and literally texting Brian Brodus and saying, if there's any way that you can have any influence of the Cowboys, I said, get that guy. Because that guy, in the 5 years I think it is that he's been there, always has over 100 tackles and averages about 5 sacks. 5 sacks a season. So you look at the numbers that he's had as opposed to if we had got him versus Leighton Vander Esch and Jalen Smith, might have been in better shape. But Bobby Wagner is still playing at a great level. Can I hear some Bobby in Whitney's voice, Gina? James Snyder says 40-14. Damn. The Cowboys should have signed Shaq Leonard, but Stephen Jones went cheap. Well, Marcus, at the moment, now he did have 7 tackles this past week, but he seems to be lost out there, and he's not the same guy he was before. You know, a lot of times we all want, and I'll be the first one to admit that, you know, you dream about seeing a guy with doing the production that they had with the other team, that if you think that that's going to correlate to that team. It was kind of like, I think about Alvin Harper, okay? Need to put my glasses on here so I can see a little bit better. There we go. Now I can see better. Alvin Harper, dirty as shit, with us. You couldn't tell me that Alvin Harper wasn't a great wide receiver. The way he was able to go across the middle and literally take it to the house was unbelievable. But the thing with Alvin Harper was he was a product of Norv Turner's play calling, having Michael Irvin on the outside and having, of course, Emmitt Smith running the football. So you start looking at those things. When he ended up going to another team and he had to be the guy, that's when the problem started, because he wasn't the guy. That when he didn't have the support system around him that he had before, he just couldn't do it. Boy, my glasses seem messed up tonight. I think, Kevin, yes, he went with the Eagles. And Seth Joyner was killing him this past week because he said he literally was going to the wrong hole almost every single time. So there's that. So, he's not exactly turning that defense that is crap into a Super Bowl defense. It's not, at this point, there's not too many guys you're going to bring in that are going to change your narrative and all of a sudden make you great. So there's that. Can't stop Emma. We have, oh my God. If you want to see some shit, as you go through and say that, our guys suck and this, that, and the other, they're not hitting the hole, go back and look at the holes that Emmitt Smith used to run through. What's on the menu for the Lions game? Shout out to you, Jorge. Jorge? Did I get it right? I'm dyslexic, so I always forget. Jorge, right? Please tell me I got it right, Jorge. Shout out to you for the super chat. I'm going to be doing corned beef, Reuben's. That's a Detroit thing, and of course, Jobu wings. The wrong hole is a bit. Oh, Rhonda. Damn, Rhonda. The wrong hole is the bad thing. Yeah, it is. Andrew, I wondered the same thing. How was Shaq lost when he was a beast against the Giants on Sunday? Cowboys suck. I'm just telling you what Seth Joyner. Listen, don't kill the messenger. Deal with the message. He's still learning the system there. And let's say this about that defense, they still suck. With or without him, they suck. That is not in dispute whatsoever. Did I hear puppies? Oh, man. Yeah, Angelica's got the nicest puppies around. I was showing my wife your puppies there too, Angelica. I said, baby, do you want to see some puppies running around? And she was like, nah. It's too hard when they... I miss our dogs, but it's so hard when they get old. That's the hard part for me. Earl, here's what a good size for a one technique guy. Think of a roll-off dumpster full of gravel. That's about the right size. You need a guy who can clog the middle. Typically, you want a guy that's about maybe 6'2" and about 340. That not is just a fat blob, but also a guy who can move. That's athletic. Because here's the thing: what you want from a one technique guy is he is going to constantly get pounded from. He gets hit by everybody. Line up on the center. Sometimes you shade a little to the left. Sometimes you shade a little to the right. Sometimes you're head up. Sometimes you're in the gap between the center and the guard. But you can best believe you're getting hit by the center, or you get hit by this guard, or you're getting hit by that guard. Sometimes you get hit by both the center and the guards, or you're getting trapped by the tackle, or you've got the tight end in motion, and at the snap of the ball, they're doing what's called a wham block, and you never see it. Or you got the fullback who's coming up and trying to cut you. And there is what's known as the clip zone. They don't show love for the guys in the line, okay? There's the tackle box. You understand what the tackle box is? It's basically from where the line of scrimmage is all the way to the tackles. In that area, you can hit a guy below the knees. You can cut him. If you want to really know what football is, just watch what goes on in the line of scrimmage. Watch the linemen and the battles that go on in there. It is all-out war. Lady Lieber, Mark, if Tracy sees a puppy in person, her heart will melt. Oh, she loves the puppies now. Oh, she loves them. But, Simba, that was her man. That was her man. Prediction, my Cowboys family. I love y'all, Cowboy Nation, but I'm 50-50 on this one, asking for a friend. Jorge, I think the Cowboys get this one, and I think they score 35 points. But you're only 50-50? I see Jimmy Johnson going into the Ring of Honor as a big motivator, playing at home, that last home game of the season, possibly, unless something changes, like the Eagles choke. I think that crowd's going to be loud and rabid, and I think the Lions, having locked up their seed, winning their division, that they may be a little bit more relaxed than the Cowboys are, a little more laid back. Hey, we got the NFC North, not the kneecaps. Oh, yes. Okay. That's where they used to high low, and at least they've outlawed that if somebody is down on you low, you can't have another guy hitting them up high. But their job is to root you the hell out of the hole, and it gets dirty in there. I mean, it gets real dirty. We better not lose. This is lose this game, 31-21 Cowboys. Parson acting like a girl. Person not strong enough. Oh, Philly D. Seriously? Seriously, Philly D? I'm not crazy about him pointing out what's fact, because it is a fact that you could call 3 or 4 at least holding calls on the offense against him. And here's the problem right now. Here is the problem. If I am going to be facing Micah Parsons and I'm an offensive line coach or head coach, I'm telling my guys, listen, if he's beating you, hold him. Hold him. Because holding him, maybe you get a call, but chances are you won't. But if you don't and he gets a free run at the quarterback, you can guarantee that he's going to get a sack. So hold him. And I think the more that he talks about it, the more that he goes on, his show, the more the NFL says, we're not going to call him. We're just not. And now, of course, you got people saying, Philly D, I'd like you to go up to Micah Parsons and tell him he's being a whiny little bitch. You want to do that? I'm just asking for a friend. Would you go up to Micah Parsons and say, you know what, you got to stop crying about the damn penalties and man the fuck up because you're sounding like a little bitch? Are you willing to do that, Philly D? Philly D. Jalen Carter's a rookie and gets held all the time. Okay. Well, then he needs to be doing the same thing, letting people know. And I dare say that the Eagles, you're the last ones that should be complaining about penalties. Just saying. Y'all seem to have more breaks than anybody. We win for Jimmy, and that will push the Cowboys to go 4-0 in the NFC Championship game. We will get there. We have a great leader in Dak. I agree with you on that one. Yeah, I think you have a better chance at sticking your finger in a bobcat. What? Whoa, Dirty Sanchez. That's really dirty. Jalen Carter is no Micah Parsons by far. Forget about it. If you want to be for real, there is a holding call. Yeah, this is true. And Linda, you are 100% right on that. And I'm not saying that you can call them that way all the time. But here's the thing. At least call it the same on both sides of the field. That's all we're saying. You can look at it with Micah Parsons, the little the unnecessary roughness call that he's getting, and they're sitting there letting guys literally, just about rape him. Mark, I would call Dak Prescott Dak Trashcott. Well, that makes sense, though, Logan Motorsports. I think you're 100% right. You ought to call him Trashcott because he always trashes the hell out your team. He literally does, Logan Motorsports. So is that why you guys call him Trashcott? Because when he leaves, your team has been trashed.
Fuck them birds. Fly, Eagles, fly. Now we shoot those birds out of the sky. Stupid dumbasses managed to give up a 3rd and 30 to my sexy arm. Pathetic defense and team. No wonder I own those piece of shit frauds every damn year. Don't get me started on the fans. You boo me while I earned a respected award. Losing the Super Bowl was just karma for you fuckheads. I can't wait to drop 100 on your heads next season while being the daddy of the NFC East again.
Hey, my buddy Charlie, Troy Aikman was an incredible quarterback. Incredible. But one thing that Troy Aikman had? Troy Aikman had one hell of a team around him. I want you to understand, Troy Aikman, I don't know if you put Troy Aikman on the Dallas Cowboys right now, if they're winning the Super Bowls. The way he did when he was there before. I look at that and say, that defense that they had, that number one defense, they aren't giving up, drives like Miami just had at the end of the game last week. They're just not. And when I look at the roster that they had, okay, I want you to understand, you could say CeeDee Lamb and Michael Irvin, okay, they're comparable. But then when you had Alvin Harper out there, when you had Emmitt Smith, I can't say Tony Pollard is Emmitt Smith. I can't say that Lepke is Moose Johnson. I'm not ready to say that Jake Ferguson is, why am I having such brain farts today? Where's the cowboy hat all the time? Jay Novacek, the original security blanket. And I'm certainly not going to say that the offensive line that, Biadish is Mark Spagnowski. I could say that Zach Martin is definitely like Larry Allen or Nate Newton. But I'm not going to go through and say that we got the offensive line that Troy Aikman had. Players make a difference. And I tell you, today, God, I hate to keep throwing my friend under the bus, but damn, he pissed me off today. He was going through and talking about, paying Dak. Oh, well, we can't, we need to move on from him. He's going to be too expensive and all. And I'm kind of like, if Russell Wilson didn't work out for Denver, if Aaron Rodgers didn't work out for the Jets, if Carson Wentz didn't work out for the Colts or Washington, right? If Deshaun Watson didn't work out for Cleveland, if drafting a Mac Jones or a Zach Wilson or a Kyler Murray or a Josh Rosen, hasn't worked for those teams, everything that Washington has done, where the F are you getting a quarterback? That's all I want to know. Where are you getting a quarterback? And he's talking about how good Justin Herbert is. And I'm like, Justin Herbert, they had a 27-point lead in the first quarter and lost the game after getting 4 takeaways. But his arm talent, he's got a better arm talent than Dak Prescott. What? Yeah, but his receivers, his receivers have been failing him. It's like, have you seen those guys? He said his receivers have been injured. I said, we didn't have an injured Michael Gallup all last season. We didn't have, Clifford Franklin, Noah Brown last year. It's like people will make up reasons why everybody does not have success, but are better than Dak Prescott, but won't do the same thing with him. Consistency is all I'm asking for. And he was like, he said, tell me you wouldn't take Justin Herbert over Dak Prescott. And I said, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. We kept hearing about how great a talent he is and how he just needed a great offensive coordinator. Where we had, now they're saying, okay, well, Kellen Moore sucked. Well, if Kellen Moore sucked and made Justin Herbert worse, and the Cowboys were the leading offense when Dak Prescott played with Kellen Moore, doesn't that say that Dak Prescott was overachieving with the coaching that he got? Am I wrong on that? Because it sure seems with Mike McCarthy, he's not getting the interceptions, getting more touchdown passes. Crazy, isn't it? Kevin Laffer. Casey Stewart, shout out to Casey. How are we doing tonight, Casey? Oh, my buddy Roadkill, do we need a bottle? 60 million, you got to be kidding me. Kid? Well, listen. Here's where it's amazing. In 2016, after Jimmy Garoppolo was the highest paid, which was after Derek Carr was the highest paid. I think Derek Carr was the highest paid at 23 million, and then Jimmy Garoppolo got I think 23 and a half, and then Drew Brees got 24.9. That was in 2016. That was only 7 seasons ago. And take a look at all the guys that got 50 million. If you're telling me that Justin Herbert's worth 54 and the NFL is printing money, I want you to understand it's not, you're looking at it from our eyes. You're looking at it from, I don't make that kind of money. We're lucky if we're making 6 figures a year, okay? This money is cray-cray money. We're looking at it from a percentage of the amount of money that the NFL makes. When the salary cap first came in, I think it was $32 million a year, because that's what the revenue that the teams made. That was the 47% of the gross revenue. The NFL is making so much more money. We don't like Amazon Prime TV, Thursday night games. You might not be crazy about the games now being on Paramount. Definitely probably aren't happy about games now being on YouTube. But that's extra money for the NFL. I'm not crazy about the NFL being in bed with gambling, because to me that opens up the door for questions and for questionable people to be doing things in the NFL. But here's what's crazy. If you take all of the games, all the revenue after expenses, for the stadiums, all the games, all the crowds, all the people that come in, all the hot dogs and everything else that they buy. That is about the same amount of money that the NFL gets just from gambling royalties. They don't do anything other than exist to get that money. That's all they do. Give me my cut. The NFL is making so much money right now. They said by 2025 that every franchise, the Cowboys are worth almost $10 billion right now. They said by 2025, all of the franchises will be worth between $7 and $12 billion each. The worst ones will be worth $7 billion. And so with that, because they're worth more, because they're bringing in more, then that's more room for the salary cap. And we are talking about not the 1%. We're talking about the 1/100000th of a percent. There are not quarterbacks that are just walking around the face of the earth. There are 32 starting quarterbacks in the NFL. How many are really good? 12? 10? It's a commodity that there is no replacement for. And you can try and penny pinch. Go ahead. I tried to tell Derek, my buddy, I said, listen, without Dak Prescott, you know what the Dallas Cowboys are? The Washington Commanders. Changed my mind. Changed my mind. What happened when we lost Dak Prescott in 2020? We had Andy Dalton. They said, Andy Dalton, there's no drop off from Andy Dalton to Dak Prescott. They're the same guy. Colin Cowherd made that argument. People said, just let Dak walk and trade for Derek Carr. You think we're a better team with Derek Carr? What's he doing in New Orleans? Seriously. He sucks. Pamela Savage, shout out to Pamela. Pamela will be at our tailgate next week. Shout out to Pamela with a friend. So, yeah, you got to pay that guy. And the funny thing is, if you do pay him $55 or $60 million, I think the starting point's $55. That $60 million, 2 years from now, is going to be a bargain. Watch. It's not like he is going to be the highest paid for forever. Hey, let's see. Kid Cowboy, 66. Guess what? I got a better one for you. Dak Prescott, first 3 years, $640,000. And I ask you, with the money the Cowboys were saving on quarterback, what did they do with the money? And by the way, his fourth year is only $2 million. So for those 4 years that he only made about $4 million, what players did the Cowboys bring in? I mean, that should have been the time if they said, we can go all in and bring in as much talent as we can, and then we'll go ahead and pay Dak. But they didn't do that. So that's my point in there. So before we get ready to get out of here, I'm looking forward to tomorrow, hopefully seeing my Dallas Cowboys able to do two things: stop the run and actually be able to run the football. If we can do those two things and get out healthy, then I'm feeling good about going into the playoffs. That's the bottom line. We must fix those two things, and I'm looking forward to seeing Jimmy Johnson finally going into the Cowboys Ring of Honor. And anything above that is just icing and gravy on the cake. So we will be here. Michael Anthony Fitness Reaction and Damn Gina will be here tomorrow to watch the game with us. And hopefully you guys will tune in with me. And I appreciate everybody. One final note, again, if you are interested in getting tickets, you must order them by Tuesday for the ones we have reserved. It's section 315. I'm not handling any of the money for that. That's all going directly to the Commanders to get the tickets. It's section 315. We're going to be tailgating in Red Zone Lot. Let me say again, Red Zone Lot. And the reason to be in Red Zone Lot is there's a back way off Sheriff Road to get in. And it opens up an hour before any of the other lots. So we get an extra hour of tailgating. I want my signed Jobu doll with even crazier hair. Okay, Jorge, I don't know how, there's only one Jobu. So I don't know how we're going to do that unless I can find a Chinese manufacturer that'll make them cheap. But I'll work on that. Lobster and shrimp sounds good. Turd Ferguson needs more opportunities. Okay. You drink gator piss, the dew, buy a little. Okay. Marcus Boss. Shout out to Juan Cruz. How are the kids doing? We're going for 16 in a row at home. So hopefully we can get that one. All right, good people. As always, I appreciate you guys. And be safe out there, and I'll see you tomorrow.
I fire Howie. Fucking fire the motherfucker! Stupid motherfucker! What an idiot! What an idiot! Dallas has Amari Cooper and Gallup, but we don't need a receiver. Are you kidding me? I don't want Justin Jefferson. He's ass. He's stupid. I fire his ass. I fire his ass. I mean, Howie's got to be stupid.